This is gonna be a very long video, so I'm gonna go straight into it. I have firstly the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. I have never read any single book, and I own the first 2 books, so it's a problem that I need to figure out. It's taking me forever to read this series, and I don't know why, because it looks so good, and I don't know. The Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. I have read the first 2 books. I have yet to read the 2 last, and I have heard some reviews that it's not as good as the first 2 books, so I'm a little bit scared to go into it, but I really have to do it anyways because I love the series, so I have to finish it at least. The Magisterium series by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. The first book is named The Iron Trial. I have bought this book I bought this book like 5 years ago. It's ridiculous how long it's been and how little I've done progress with it. I have read some pages, I have flipped through it, but I've never fully read it. Next I got the Jamadol series by Liba Braid. This is A Great and Terrible Beauty, the first book. I heard so many great things about it, and I heard so many people talk about it on BookTube, and I didn't read it. I have to. This video is gonna get so repetitive, it's gonna be sad. I have the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. This is actually the second book, City of Ashes, because I don't own the first one for God knows why. I will buy it soon because I have the second one, so I don't know why. I don't know. I have the Ink World series by Cornelia Funk. Yes. The first book being Inkheart. I saw Little Book Owl Kaz talk about it in her videos, a lot of her videos, and she really loved the book, so I really want to read it because it looks so good, and I can binge read the series because they're all out like ages ago. I have Burn for Burn by Jenny Han and Siobhan Vivian. I have read the first one and I have never continued on. I don't know why. I have to read it. I have the second book with me, so there's no excuse really. But to be honest, I read this book like 3, maybe 4 years ago, so if I start reading this series, I'm gonna have to reread the first book because I have no clue what's going on. I have the Serafina series by Rachel Hartman, also from Little Book Owl, but also from other YouTubers that I don't remember. I'm sorry, I don't remember the names, but they said that it was really good, so I put it on my TBR and never read it, and so now I have to binge read it because I have to. I had the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. This is the first book, The Royal Assassin Apprentice. I don't know what it is in English. The Assassin's Apprentice. That's what I said. This book is ancient, and one of my colleagues at work said that I had to read it, and so I will. And I bought it in French just because I really like the cover. I thought it was beautiful, I thought it was cute, I liked it. So yeah, and it was very cheap. I was very surprised. It was almost at the same price as the English version, so I'm done with it. The Mara Dyer series by Michelle Hodkin. This bad boy. Just never read it. I just never did, and I don't know why. I have the Impulse series by Ellen Hopkins. I have read Crank, and I think it's in the series. It's not a poetry book, but it's written in verse, and so her books are really long, but there's like 2 sentences per book, per page, sorry. I loved the book so much, and I really wanted to continue on, but I didn't. Don't know why, but I have to because it's really good. It's really good, and it talks about issues that are real life. I have the Starbound series by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. This is These Broken Stars. All the 3 books have come out, and I haven't read it, and it's so tiny. Like, it's not a big book, but I don't know why, but I didn't read it, and now I'm behind everything in life. I have the Lotus War series by J. Kristoff. This book, well, this series was so popular a few years back, and everybody that I was following was talking about it and how great it was, and I didn't know J. Kristoff at the time. Well, I still don't know him because I still haven't read any of his books. Yikes. But I will. The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. This is a series that I'm not sure I will read one day, just the same as A Lord of the Rings. I've seen the movies and I'm not entirely sure that I'm going to enjoy the books, just because the story is so fresh in my mind and I know exactly what's going to happen, so I know that it's not the same, and I know that a book is always better, but I don't know if I'm going to read The Chronicles of Narnia. I have two series by Marilu. I have Legend and the Young Elites series. So, for these two series, for the Legend series, I haven't read any of them, and for this one, I have read the Young Elites, which I made a readathon about like 4 years ago. I don't even know. But the thing is, I bought this book when it just came out and everybody was talking about it and how great it was, and it is great, but I had to wait a whole year to read the second one and I just forgot about it. The only series I'm like keeping up with is the Shadow Me series, and it's the only series where if a book comes out, I buy it now and I read it. But that's the only series that I do that with. So you have to set priorities in life, so that's what I did. The Tomorrow series by John Marston, I really want to read this one because it looks so good, and they're like tiny books. The story looks so good, and so many people have been raving about this series, so I have to read it. And it's like ancient. I think it's not even in the 21st century that it was made, so it's a long time ago. I have the Abortion series by Garth Nix, and this book is so tiny. It's like 300 pages. It's so small. But the thing is, I bought it not a long time ago, and I want to buy the two other books before reading this one, because I don't know if I read it and I like it, I will automatically buy the two other books and just forget about this one by the time the other books arrive. So I don't know. Dorothy Must Die. This was a very good book. I loved Dorothy Must Die by Daniel Page. But then, again, same thing happened. I read this book when it first came out, and I had to wait a year to read the second one. And I just forgot about it because a year is so long. It's complicated, okay? I don't like reading fresh series because I always end up losing them because I don't have the other books. The Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini, I think that this is how you call it. The reason I put it there is just because it is so hyped. Well, it was, and it's not anymore, but it was so popular at the time, and I think honestly I was too young to read such a book when it came out, and when the movie came out I was also too young. I think I was like 10, and like dragon stuff wasn't my thing yet, so I didn't read it. Well, I didn't watch the movie, I didn't read the books, and now it's almost like a classic that you have to read, and I didn't, so I should probably do that. The Song of the Lioness series by Tamora Pierce. This is from the Little Book Owl again, but I have read the synopsis of it and it looks so good, and I really wanted to read it, but I never came around to do that, and I didn't buy it, so it just fell apart somehow. I don't know. I have his Dark Material trilogy by Philip Pullman, so this is The Golden Compass, and yes, this one I have to read because I have the only three books in the trilogy, and I have to read it. I first knew about this series because of the movie, because that's how people do it. But when they didn't make the other movies, I was really sad because the concept was so amazing. I loved it so much. So I decided to track down the books, and I fell upon this series that was on sale, the three books together. So I was like, okay, I'm buying them right now. It would be good that I would read them soon because they're all there. The Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. I haven't read any of his books and people are gonna get mad. I know that. I just haven't. And I need to read it. I don't know if it's 3 or 7 books. Because it's a trilogy, but then the other 4 books, they're like in the same world but 300 years later, so it's not the same characters, so I don't think it would be... In my head, it's like 2 different series, but it's in the same world building, so I don't know. The Shades of Magic series by V.E. Schwab. I have to read it. Everybody's been talking about the different Londons and how wonderful they are and how magical it is, and so yeah, I haven't been on track. That's just what happened. And finally, my last book, well, series, is the Fairyland series by Catherine M. Valente. This is, the first book is The Girl Who Circumnavigated in the Ship of Her Own Making, something like that. I don't know if it will be up before this one. I have bought it on Book Outlet, so yay me. It's the first step towards reading goals. Yay. This series looks so good, so I really have to read it because it's kids going on adventures and there's magic. It's a new world. I can't resist it. So that was it. I'm sorry it was so long, but I really want to talk about them because you can bitch read all of these series yourself also. So we could do it together if that's what you would be interested. I don't think you would because I'm boring, but anyways, goodbye. De la tierra morena, cielito lindo, vienen bajando un par de ojitos negros, cielito lindo de contrabando.